Aloha and welcome to the KupunaWiki radio show. This month we are continuing the conversation on senior housing and adult daycare. Today in studio we have Kylee Maneja, Sales Director at Ilima at Leihano. KupunaWiki is Hawaii's senior resource. We talk to the best local professionals in the state regarding topics such as real estate, senior housing, estate planning, finance, and health, so that our Kupuna families can find the best resources in the midst of a life transition. We strive to make sure our seniors are informed and supported every step of the way. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Brandon Lau.
And I'm Angela Young,
your host for the KupunaWiki radio show.
Our title sponsor for today is Cheney Brooks Choice Advisors, providing you with the best real estate information so you can make the most informed decision. As we like to say, real estate is about choice. To contact them, call 753-9033.
And now we have a real estate tip of the week brought to you by Cheney Brooks Choice Advisors.
Mortgage insurance is an insurance policy which compensates lenders or investors for losses due to the default of a mortgage loan. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, is typically required with most conventional mortgage programs when the down payment or equity position is less than 20% of the property value. It lowers the risk to the lender of making a loan to you, so you can qualify for a loan that you may not otherwise be able to get.
For more information about mortgage insurance or details of financing, contact Cheney Brooks Choice Advisors at 753-9033. And Andrew, I think we wanted to let our listeners know that they can catch any of our episodes of KupunaWiki Radio both on Spotify and on Apple.
Yes, that's correct.
So check it out. Well, again, today in studio we have the pleasure of speaking with Sales Director Kylee Maneja with Ilima at Leihano. Welcome, Kylee.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on the show. Well, we love hearing about what's going on in Kapolei and especially with Ilima at Leihano. Tell us a little bit of what you're doing these days. I know it's a little different because of the pandemic and the changes going on, but how are things in the community?
Well, you know, our priority has always been to keep the residents and associates safe, especially right now when COVID-19 hit. So currently we had to implement measures in order to do that. So right now our residents are staying in the building, but they're still able to socialize while practicing social distancing.
Right. And
that's due to our unique outdoor area where they can still visit with their family members, which is really important for their well-being. We have a table set up outside by our pool area, and we have the plexiglass. And we also invested in these Eversound headphones because with seniors, they have trouble communicating when you're so far away and hearing. So they can wear these Eversound headphones and their family member can wear the microphone, and we have the transmitter. That way they can communicate more effectively.
That's great.
Yes, it's really good. So we just got that actually about 2 weeks ago, and our wellness team went through training. So they also use the headphones for bingo and for virtual shows that we've been doing, for like a jazz show. And they've been really enjoying it. We've received positive feedback.
So no excuse for not being involved, right?
Exactly.
I mean, they're fully engaged. They can hear now. That's wonderful.
Yeah, and you know what's great is our wellness team and our wellness director has been really flexible, especially during COVID-19. So because there's only a maximum of 6 residents per activity when it first hit, they changed the exercise classes and bingo to be in the hallways, so the resident can just be right outside their door and participate. That way we can address everyone. So the wellness team, they'll go to each floor because we have 3 floors. And have everyone participate. We also have a wellness cart every Wednesday that is different themed. So our wellness team would decorate the cart. So for example, we've had happy hour, we had a general store, a acai bowl, root beer, float, ice cream sundae, hot dog on a stick. And they'll go to each apartment and deliver those goodies for our residents. And they've been really liking it.
Wow, that sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like themed activities and fun socials.
Exactly.
And it keeps you guys busy.
Yes, it does
Right.
keep us busy, definitely.
Well, Kylee, maybe you can share a little bit of maybe how you came into this role as a sales director and how you like working at Ilima Leihano.
Yes, of course. So I actually just started with Ilima at Leihano in the beginning of May. And so my background is actually in the hospice industry. So
Okay.
I've worked with hospice organizations in Hawaii and Los Angeles. But being in the hospice field, I've always went into assisted living facilities and skilled nursing facilities and had to find placement for those hospice patients. And I built a good relationship with a lot of my assisted living facilities and knew I wanted to communicate more and be more involved with seniors.
Yeah.
So when this position opened, when I moved from Los Angeles back to Hawaii, I jumped on the chance and I got to join the team and I really enjoyed it. The Ilima culture is really positive. They really invest in their employees and even their residents and really live by their culture every day. We all meet in the morning for
Right.
stand-up, as we call it, and we always recite our principles, values, and beliefs, just to let everyone know, all our associates know that this is why we're doing what we're doing,
Right.
and just so that it's instilled in them as well. So it's been really a good experience so far at Ilima.
Now, you said you started in May.
Yes.
So you jumped on a plane in May
Mhm.
to come here.
Yes. Well,
Did you know that you were going to work at Ilima, or you just kind of said, I'm coming back to
No,
Hawaii?
exactly. So originally we moved from Hawaii to Los Angeles for 2 years for my fiance's job,
Okay.
and knew we were coming back, but it was supposed to be at the end of April. COVID-19 hit,
Okay.
and we started panicking because we didn't want to be stuck there.
Right.
And so we moved our plans around. We changed our flight, and I was still interviewing for the position because it is a very thorough interview. It took about 2 months, and you interview with everyone from Ilima, and then also the corporate team at Kisco, in California. And so that was a little different too, because usually they'll fly you out to Carlsbad,
Mhm.
but since COVID-19, everything was done virtually.
Right.
So I didn't know I had gotten the job before because I came down quarantined for 14 days, was still interviewing,
Right.
and then after my quarantine, Mark Suda, our executive director, had me come down to meet him in person, and
Oh, that's
thankfully,
nice. Thankfully,
I
it's
got
good
the
news,
job.
right?
Yes, exactly. So everything, all the hecticness I've been through, it worked out in the end.
It was worth it.
Yes.
Right. It was
Yes.
worth it. Oh, that's nice. So you were actually born and raised in Hawaii,
Mhm.
and then you went to school on the mainland,
Mhm.
got some experience up there in the hospice environment, as you said. Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, so I'm just happy to be back.
Yeah. So Kylie, sounds like everyone is fully engaged in the culture and the service you provide to the residents there. Tell us a little bit about Kisco. You had mentioned that Lima is part of the larger umbrella of Kisco. And how does that benefit what we have here in Kapolei?
Yes, of course. So Kisco benefits us because Kisco has over 20 years of financial stability and experience. So how Kisco started actually is our CEO, Andy Kohlberg, was looking for his parents, and he was not satisfied with the services or when he was looking. So he wanted to start an assisted living facility, and he has had the means to do it because he was a professional tennis player and an entrepreneur, and so he started building assisted living facilities. And the culture that he created from the top down just transfers over to Ilima and the culture we already have in Hawaii.
Right.
So creating a fostering learning environment for our residents, having associates being compassionate, having the management team lead with compassion and empathy, and just engaging all members of the Kisco team with responding to the residents' needs
Right.
and having that transparent and open communication with associates as well. So that really transpires to what we're going now or experiencing now with COVID-19 because our management team has been very transparent with the residents and family members because obviously it's a hard time for family members having their loved ones in a community when they're hearing about all these outbreaks happen and seniors being vulnerable, the vulnerable population for COVID-19. So we communicate with the families and residents on a continuous basis. And we're a really data-driven company, so we're tracking the number of cases daily and need to make any changes or adjustments as needed. And our families and residents have been very thankful for that, which is great.
That's great. So you have locations in California and Hawaii and other parts of the U.S.?
Yes, we have 20 communities. So we do have in Florida, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Utah, and Northern California and Southern California.
Now, is Hawaii like one of the premier locations in the Kisco portfolio?
Well, I'll tell you this, is a lot of the management team up in our headquarters in Carlsbad, they always want to come down here
Right.
for a
They can't
visit to
wait
see
to
how
just-
we're doing, right?
Do a little trial run, right?
Exactly.
Well, I definitely want to hear more about the services that Ilima Leihano is providing, and also how you're going to continue to thrive even in the midst of this pandemic. So we'll talk more about that right after this commercial break.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we have Kylee Maneja. She's the sales director at Ilima at Leihano. Right before the break, she kind of touched upon the Kisco culture and part of the how the folks are adapting to the current pandemic situation. I want to jump back. You mentioned that you folks are still allowing visitation, which is pretty unique because given how other facilities are adjusting, I believe they're not allowing visitations. So the fact that you guys are still allowing that, I think, is a great thing because you mentioned you guys have that outdoor seating area, and also you guys bought extra equipment to maintain that communication. What are some other things that you guys have done to adapt to the current situation?
Yes, of course. So things that have happened at Ilima, and I say we track cases daily, right, because we need to make adjustments as needed. So initially when COVID-19 first hit, obviously we couldn't have the dining room open anymore. So what we started doing is room service. So our dining team adapted very quickly, and our dining service director invested in these biodegradable, reusable takeout containers, and that's what we would use for room service. So they'll go to door for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But now, since we track the cases and it was getting a little bit better, even though we're seeing the little spike now, our dining room is open. The difference is that we're only allowing 2 residents per table because we need to maintain proper social distancing, and we do have set times for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The great thing about that is we're still doing restaurant style, which means the residents don't need to give their order at the beginning of the week and choose what they want to eat. When they come into the dining room, it is a restaurant style experience. So we'll have our hostess seat them and they can choose wherever they want to sit. They don't have an assigned seat. They'll get a menu and they get an order off the menu for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is really nice.
It's like coming into a restaurant.
Exactly, and that's what we strive for is luxury senior lifestyle. And that's just to maintain their well-being as well. Our activities have changed. I touched upon a little bit about doing hallway exercises and hallway bingo so we can maintain the proper social distancing. But our wellness team, they've implemented the wellness card as well. But a good thing we've invested into is an AccuShield technology, which is at our front desk, and it asks a bunch of screening questions to our associates and residents because our residents need to check in and out if they're leaving. Our residents are allowed to leave for essential visits such as doctor's appointments or to go to a financial institution with our transportation. For doctor's appointments, they do need to bring a note back and they don't need to quarantine after the doctor's appointments, which is a really great thing. So they can still be about in the community. So the AccuShield tracking system, when associates come in for work, they'll answer